We're standing on the edge of a cliff overlooking the colorful locals of Guatemala. They move in groups, they move individually, and they rush toward trucks every time a new one comes by. Garbage trucks. This community lives off of the central landfill of Guatemala, one of the largest landfills in all of Central America. They sort through trash, recyclables, discarded food items, syringes, biohazards, dead animals, and human corpses. Within a block of this landfill, I meet Julio. His rap nickname is JC Out. This was while I was a volunteer at Safe Passage, a nonprofit organization devoted to breaking the cycle of poverty through education. Julio was one of those highly sociable kids who would interact with anyone and everyone. He would practice his English by speaking to the volunteers, his peers, teachers. He was extremely creative in writing his own rap songs in English and was resourceful in singing along to popular American songs. He was building those crucial soft skills and intertwining it with the hard skill of learning English, which eventually led him to graduate and find a job outside of this landfill. We need to cultivate an environment like this in our school systems where students can develop such skills. All of us are born with a set of inherent skills, in which some of us are natural communicators, creators, critical thinkers, but that's not enough. In today's world, we need the whole slate of skills in order to be successful. Thankfully, our school systems do a really great job at helping us develop those hard skills. But we're still missing those crucial soft skills that truly determine lasting success. We need to build a framework to flip it. When you walk into a job interview, the hard skills are what gets your foot in the door, but the soft skills are what keeps you there. Hard skills are the teachable abilities that can be measured: math, science, reading. Soft skills refer to your interpersonal effectiveness, your ability to react to external environment, communication, critical thinking, influence. So if soft skills are equally as, or even more important than hard skills, why don't we also teach those in the classroom? Imagine flipping it by pulling those soft skills and making those our subject areas, and then taking those hard skills and making those our application areas. Imagine, rather than walking into a class, a history class, where you have to present on the American Revolution, what if you walked into a conflict resolution class where you had to apply history to it and see how conflict was resolved through wars and treaties? Was conflict resolved? In more of a STEM-like area like math, perhaps conflict is experienced through teaming or working with others, and then resolved by showing your work or proofs. Here's a little bit of how this could look like in the school system, say with influence. Influence is the capacity for someone to be a compelling force on the thoughts, actions, or opinions of others. You may also think of this as to sway, to persuade, to instigate. There are 3 tactics associated with influence, and you need a balance of all 3 of them to be truly successful. The first, the logical. It taps into other people's reasoning or intellect. The emotional ties your message to other people's goals or values. And the cooperative builds a connection to you and the group. If we were to apply this to history, who's someone who has been influential? I can think of one. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his "I Have a Dream" speech. It goes something like this. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. This was from the Declaration of Independence, in which our founding fathers created. I have a dream that one day, on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. He later goes on to say, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they are not judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. All right, so as a statistician, I must have some study or statistic in here, right? There was a study conducted by a group of researchers in Chicago, and they published an article in the Journal on Child Development. They found that including the social emotional learning programs in school increases attitudes and engagements. Specifically, this was a meta-analysis for 213 social emotional learning-based programs for kids aged kindergarten through high school. Compared to controls, they found that students who had access to these programs had an 11% increase in achievement. That's the equivalent of an increase in a letter grade. That could be the difference between that student getting into that college of their dreams or getting that job they've always wanted. What if that were your child who just did not have the opportunity to develop these skills in school? We're all here waiting to hear about radical changes to education, and while this approach may be novel, this knowledge of the importance of soft skills is not new. This journal was published in 2011. We need to create the framework to flip it. Imagine a future in which we can pull those strengths and soft skills and translate that into the corresponding hard skills so that we can help the student develop their whole being and move forward. So on Monday, when you go back to schools and go back to your classrooms, we can start to implement this by first taking the first step and doing short teachings on several soft skills, perhaps communication before a presentation. We could take the next step by creating an after-school program and helping to develop some of these skills every week. Better yet, we could create a gap year program or a summer program that is strategically placed right before high school when students begin to choose their classes, or right before college when they begin to choose their majors. I have a little message from Julio for you guys and how he feels about education and what it has done for him.
It starts again, another inspiration. Because of education, safe passage, change all my ways. Because of education, it has changed my days. With education, you can find new ways to communicate, but it depends on you, whether you love and embrace it, because English got me dedicated.
Let's create more opportunities for students like Julio by bringing soft skills-based learning into the classrooms. It's time that you flip it.